Hello, I'm Jessica Rivera with your latest news. Breaking Kentucky on Saturday. A Louisville restaurant customer pointed a gun at armed Black Lives Matter protesters after the group surrounded the restaurant and tried to assault outdoor diners. In Utah, a missing woman has been found alive living in a tent. The 47-year-old Utah woman disappeared in November after U.S. Forest Service officials found her abandoned car in a campground parking lot. Officials say the woman has knowingly stayed in the area. And in Hawaii, the moment a 6-year-old girl encountered a shark can be seen on video. The girl says her soul left her body as she saw the shark while playing in the waves, and who could blame her? Thankfully, the young girl was unharmed. And that's your latest news break. Now to Water Cooler with David Brody, followed by Outside the Beltway with John Fredericks.
And welcome to the Water Cooler, everybody. I'm David Brody. We appreciate you being here with us today. It is Wednesday, March 5th, 2021, and you know what that means. A quick note from Donald Trump and all of us here at the Water Cooler as we wish you and yours a very happy Cinco de Mayo day. Yes, let's show Donald Trump, of course, with the Mexican taco bowl. Oh, I love this song. This is like my ringtone. Remember that classic picture? How could we not bring it back on this Cinco de Mayo day here in 2021? All right, enough of that. Of course, May 5th will also be remembered as the day when Facebook took a big old face plant into the abyss of big tech liberalism. Facebook's oversight board ruled today that President Trump will not be allowed back on Facebook. Hey, Zuckerberg and company, the American people have also ruled, and they say you all are a bunch of liberal hacks who can't wait until AOC is president. And by the way, Lord help us all on that. All right, here's the statement by POTUS 45 today. What Facebook, Twitter, and Google have done is a total disgrace and an embarrassment to our country. I feel like I should read it like Donald Trump. Free speech has, I won't do it. Free speech has been taken away from the President of the United States because the radical left lunatics are afraid of the truth, but the truth will come out anyway. Bigger and stronger than ever before. The people of our country will not stand for it. These corrupt social media companies must pay a political price and must never again be allowed to destroy and decimate our electoral process. All right, also today, a new organization that will help fight voter fraud. It's called the Election Integrity Alliance. Among the board members, Trump's former Attorney Jenna Ellis, along with Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, who we will speak to today. And we check in on the old soap opera that we like to call as Liz Cheney turns. And trust me, this ain't ending well for Liz. More GOP leaders coming out against her today. The House, by the way, comes back in session next week, so we're going to need to wait until then at least to find out her fate. But put it this way, if Liz Cheney survives this, she's going to be the new Harry Houdini. And by the way, Gen Zers, look it up. POTUS 45 weighing in again today on Liz Cheney. He says this, warmonger Liz Cheney, you gotta love Trump, who has virtually no support left in the great state of Wyoming, continues to unknowingly and foolishly say that there was no election fraud in the 2020 presidential election, when in fact the evidence, including no legislative approvals as demanded by the U.S. Constitution, shows the exact opposite. Had Mike Pence referred the information on 6 states, only need 2, back to state legislatures, and had gutless and clueless Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, he blew 2 seats in Georgia that should never have been lost, fought to expose all the corruption that was presented at the time. With more since, we would have had a far different presidential result, and our country would not be turning into a socialist nightmare. Anyhow, that's what he says. And then he ends by saying, never give up. All right, one person who will never give up is our first guest, back with us on the Water Cooler, the anti-AOC, more like the pro-MAGA MTG, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. Always great to see you, Congresswoman.
Thank you, David. I'm so happy to be on your show.
Well, look, I don't know where to begin. I mean, there's so much news. Why don't we start with Liz Cheney first? I mean, is she toast? I mean, are her days as one of the leaders of the GOP, are they numbered pretty much?
Yes, definitely. That'll be something we'll be taking care of in our conference next week. This is something that myself, along with members of the House Freedom Caucus and others, we had voted to remove her earlier this year. But the vote didn't pass, and she remained our chairwoman. However, now you can see that the rest of the conference is ready to make the move, and positions are being lined up with President Trump coming out just a little while ago endorsing Elise Stefanik.
Right. I was going to ask you about that. What do you think about that, the endorsement of Elise Stefanik? I mean, she's definitely MAGA infused, though her voting record is maybe not as conservative as other members. What's your take on Elise Stefanik at this point?
Well, nothing personally against Elise. I'm a very conservative Republican, both socially and fiscally. So I think voting records are very important. I like to see passing grades and not failing grades. However, President Trump has a warm spot in his heart for Elise, and that's because she fought for him in impeachment with the Russian collusion scam that the Democrats were pulling the first time. And so you can understand why President Trump has endorsed her. What we need in leadership in the GOP and the Republican conference going forward is we need Republicans who are committed to conservative values that represent all of our voters. And that's most Republican voters want conservative, fighting members of Congress that are going to stop the Democrat agenda that's destroying our country right now. They're basically passing socialism every single day, and no one is stopping them. And so what I'd like to see out of leadership in the GOP is very strong leaders with a committed plan that's much bigger than taking back the House in 2022, an actual plan that puts America First policies front and center, puts the American people first, and makes it people over politicians going forward.
I got to get to the Facebook decision to not reinstate Trump. How do you see that? Is this a blow to Trump, maybe financially in terms of raising money? How do you see this whole Facebook deal?
I don't think anyone's hurting President Trump in raising money. There's lots of people donating to his Save America PAC, and I think that's fantastic. I think what we're seeing out of Facebook is they're stalling. You see, they're riding the fence of course, pleasing their crowd, which is the radical left. They're the party of destroying free speech, the party of censorship. They're the party of having platforms that gets to pick and choose whose voices matter. But your conservative voices don't matter at all, because plenty of people have been thrown off of Facebook, including our very much beloved President Trump. Now, here's why they're delaying and not giving a permanent ban. Facebook's also a business, and President Trump has been very vocal about his intentions to release a new platform. And I think everyone knows when his new social media platform goes online, you'll see at least 75 million people join up, if not more. And that's going to hurt Facebook's business very badly, along with Twitter and all of those that have censored conservatives for a very long time. So I think Facebook is saying, we're just going to wait and see. We don't want to upset any of our Democrat voters and hard Antifa activists that work at Facebook. So we'll just delay this a little bit longer and see what happens when Trump's social media platform comes out.
Yeah, the labor crisis in America, I've got to ask you about that. You've put up tweets about this. You say, in essence, back-to-back meetings in my district with business owners, and then you go on to say this. You were told that over and over again the labor crisis is extremely important to the folks back home. When you pay people to stay home with stimulus checks for over a year, they don't need to work. Save America, stop socialism. Tell us about what's happening there.
Yeah, David, this is absolutely the issue that should be reigning the news cycle instead of gossip and stupid stories about the royals, which none of us care about. This is an assault on America and small businesses. The fact that we have been paying people to stay home for over a year now with these ridiculous stimulus checks and these hard-lined government imposed shutdowns has hurt businesses so badly, and it's across the board. It's not just small businesses, it's big businesses, it's schools, it's everyone. They can't hire anyone. No one wants to show up for a job interview, and no one wants to take a job. And so what I've been talking to is businesses in my district, but also all over the country. Restaurants that are having to close down and stop serving dinner are only able to serve lunch because they can't find people to work. Restaurants that have been open for 50 years, such as one here in Dalton in my district, that is having to shut its doors 3 to 4 days a week because they don't have enough people to come to work. And then even the schools can't hire bus drivers. They can't hire cafeteria workers. They can't hire janitors. It goes all the way across the board, and it's hurting everyone. It's hurting an economic recovery. It's hurting economic growth, but is very much killing these small businesses. They've already endured an entire year of shutdowns, and yet guess what? Their rent stays the same. Their power bills stay the same. Their cost of operations, buying their supplies, food for their restaurants, or whatever supplies they need to run their business, all of that remains the same, but yet they can't employ people to do the actual work so that they can make revenue to sustain their companies.
So just so I understand, I have about 30 seconds left. You're saying it's an assault on America, that the stimulus checks are keeping people home and that they won't get into the labor force? Is that what you're saying?
David, what I'm saying is socialism is killing our country, and it's here now, and it's come through the Democrats and all of these shutdowns, and everything the Democrats, they are doing is socialism. It's government checks paying people, and they're staying home and they don't want to work. So more Democrat policies is destroying our country.
Got it. Marjorie Taylor Greene, great to see you. You're on break, but you're never on break. You never stop working. I know. As a matter of fact, in the district, you're working even harder. I understand. So thank you so much. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. All right. MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I know the media loves and is infatuated with AOC. And conservatives say, hey, you know what? We need a few more MTGs around. And you know why? Because she's bold. She's standing up for conservative principles. She's not backing down. She kind of, let's be honest, she kind of reminds a lot of folks of Donald Trump. Just so you know. I'm just saying. All right, coming up, this guy's smart. You know why? His last name is Jeff Brain. His last name is Brain. He better be smart. CEO of CloudHub. Next.